You're smart, you're motivated, you want to do something big. You're on the verge of being a young boss, and we're going to help you get there. I'm your host, Isabel Garino, and welcome to the Young Boss Podcast, where youth is your power. With over 11 years of experience dabbling in all the facets of the mortgage process, Alaina has found her calling as a business development officer for the Gervais team. Alaina's passion is getting to know and developing relationships with individuals inside and outside of work. Focusing on building trust with agents and members of the real estate community, Alaina is a professional home buying and financing matchmaker. In her free time, Alaina enjoys spending time with her husband, Beef, and their two spunky kiddos. A fitness fanatic, Alaina can be found out working everybody in the gym or pounding the pavement in Arizona's year-round sunshine. Whether it's parenting, working out, or meeting with referral partners, Alaina is always all in. Welcome, Alaina.
Thank you so much. It's fun to be here.
I'm excited to have you. I've been wanting to have you for so long.
Well, we're doing it in your amazing studio space. It's so cool.
Yes, excited to have you here. Tell me a little bit about your business. What got you guys started? Because I know you just made a big switch to doing everything on your own.
Okay, so like you mentioned, I have been in this industry for 11 years, and I was brought in by someone who was a client of mine at a gym, and he was so kind to bring me into this industry and kind of hold my hand along the way and open up doors and allowed me to make adjustments and change. And 9 years into that relationship, Beef came over and joined me into the mortgage world. Yeah. And he learned very, very quickly so many different facets of mortgage. He was a loan partner. Okay. And so we were on a really high producing mortgage team. Yeah. So he was able to touch a lot of different files. And so in mortgage, we see a lot of people. We talk to a lot of people. We see a lot of weird scenarios and try to figure out what works. And then last fall, we kind of came to a head where we realized, hey, we know what we're doing. We're making money for somebody else. Our schedules are really tight. We're not seeing our kids. He had left supply chain because he was being overworked, and the same exact thing was happening again. And so we said, okay, it's time for us to make a switch. Yeah. Do we go off on our own? And we decide to dive in headfirst at potentially the worst time in like a 10-year history. Yeah. Interest rates went from 3s in the spring up to 7%. Yeah. And that is the biggest jump mortgage interest rates have ever done. Yeah. And so that kind of put the kibosh on quite a bit of home buying, but we were still able to make relationships. We were able to find buyers. We were able to educate people. And that kind of propelled us into, we're actually closing deals. We're actually making money. And so it's been a journey. Yeah. A little scary. I mean, to be honest, we did not make a paycheck for 3 months.
Okay. Tell me about that. Oof. Like fear in being an entrepreneur is huge. A lot of people are just scared of starting their own thing and then doing their own thing. And what happens when you're in that moment? Like, when is the next paycheck coming? It
got really, really scary. However, here's the thing. We both worked salary jobs for a decade prior. Okay. And so Beef and I have been able to store things away. We're really, pretty financially conservative, maybe to a fault. Some might say we are a little stingy. Okay. And that's who we were kind of raised by in a really positive way. I hate to say stingy, but like we're giving in certain ways, but we've always been really, really cautious over our money. How we spent things, always made things with like really in sound mind. So going months without a paycheck, while scary, we didn't even have to dip into our savings because we had already saved up enough to be able to make that leap. Yeah. But terrifying, yes.
Oh, I can imagine. Mm-hmm. And like you're saying, starting when things are a little bit rocky in our country and in our market here in Arizona, we've seen a lot of crazy things in Arizona over the last, 20 years, right? And so we get hit really crazy when it comes to U.S. numbers and data. It's like Arizona is one of those markets that really
you always hear Phoenix being mentioned. Yes. Whether it's in the good, in the huge growth, or the bad, where our market is falling apart. But I think that, I guess, I don't know if I'm allowed to really speak on it, but we're not going to see that huge market crash that we saw in 2006, 7, 8. Yeah. Thank goodness. Yeah. We just have too many really awesome businesses that are coming out here. Mm-hmm. And so where there are jobs, there are homes, there are home buyers. Yep.
Yeah,
So
I always say that, like, if the people are moving, the money's moving, guys.
the money's moving.
If
Yes.
the businesses are moving, the people are moving.
Yep.
So it's like, follow what's going on there. So.
Totally. And it is sad for the people who have been in Arizona their whole life.
Yeah.
And they were planning to retire here, and they're starting to realize, hey, I might not make enough money to grow my wealth here. But I also have some feelings about that. I say you start really small and then you build up and up and up.
Yeah, there's no reason that you have to jump into that huge home right away, your final home. It's like, that's the point of a starter home, right?
Yes.
Is to just
get
going.
For some reason, I feel like our generation and maybe Gen Z as well, like we have this like mixed message of what your first home is.
Yeah.
Like your first home really should not be something that you're going to be in forever.
No.
It's usually ugly. It's small. It's not like your dream home at all. You're probably going to have to repaint and redo the floors, but it's something that you get in at a really small investment.
Yeah.
And you're going to hold on to it and live in it for 2 to 5 years. Yeah. That equity is going to build and grow. And then you've got this appreciation bank. So 5 years, you can look back and say, hey, what do I want to do with that appreciation? Yeah. Do I convert this property into an investment property of some sort? Yeah. Or do I sell the home, take all that equity and buy something bigger?
Right.
But you can keep doing that snowball thing bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's what everybody's got to get back to. If you haven't entered the real estate game yet, let's start a little small.
Okay, so what gets you so jazzed about home ownership? Why is it so exciting to help people on that journey?
Well, probably what I was just kind of talking about. Yeah. I mean, how great is it that you can have all this money that's kind of, your money's making money on the back end. And then at the same time, it is your safe place. It's your home. It's your solitude. It's, a friend mentioned this just the other day, but she said it was like your pride of owning something. And that's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember buying my first home and Beef and I were like, holy crap, we did it.
Yeah. Like you're a homeowner.
We were homeowners. Yeah. But again, I can also say this, and I'll say it very honestly, we had the amazing help of family. My mom actually bought our first home.
Wow.
Because ready for the small world?
Yeah.
We walked in, we knew the real estate agent. Turns out we knew the seller. They were both Valley people.
Oh, that's funny.
And so my mom was willing to put the cash down because they had multiple offers available to them.
Okay.
She put the cash down just so we could get it. Yeah. She put the new floors, new paint, we redid a kitchen, updated a bathroom, and then Beef and I, 2 months later, bought it from her at that new purchase price. Yeah. We would have never been able to do it. And so I always want to encourage people like, hey, if somebody's offering you that, there is no sense in being like too prideful to say, no, I don't want it. Yeah. If somebody's offering it, take it.
Yeah. I love that.
Sorry, that was my little tangent. We're going to have a lot of those today.
I love it. Okay, let's go back to Beef. So you work with your husband, pros and cons. What's the worst part? What's the best part?
Ooh, worst part, maybe because we like never not see each other. Like we're literally always together.
A lot of time together.
And so sooner than later, it's got to happen where we're sick of each other.
Yeah. Hasn't happened yet?
Not yet. And I'm like, it's got to happen soon. Like, how can we sleep next to each other, work next to each other, eat next to each other, parent next to each other, do all of these things? But
do you work out together?
Today we kind of did. We went to the gym together, which was fun. But then on the flip side of it, and it's fun because you're asking me questions that I've actually kind of simmered on recently. And the best part is seeing how our relationship has strengthened in this, because we've been able to step back and see our relationship in a different light of like what being teammates legitimately is. Yeah. And we're learning that we are so yin and yang, where he is amazingly strong. Naturally, I kind of lack in. And in places where I'm strong, he's not so strong in. And that's been really cool to see this like molding of two people fitting so well. Yeah. Because Beef is he's a little bit more shy, a little bit more reserved, and then you've got extroverted me who will go have a conversation with your pink wall over here just because I've got so many questions that I want to know everything about. And so that's been really, really cool in his supply chain brain. Yeah. Being able to come through and look at loan options in such like a strategic way where my brain, in an analytical way where my brain doesn't. Yeah. I couldn't do what he does.
No.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that about each other before you kind of did this? Did that give you confidence to go out on your own because you knew that there was a yin and yang?
It definitely gave us confidence because he can focus so much on like the loan and the lead, and I can focus so much on the real estate agent and what they need and how can I help this real estate agent grow their business in a marketing sense. And then on the gifting things. And so we work a little bit different where I go out and I generate most of our business and then I bring it into him and hand it over.
Yep.
And that's what a business development person does in the mortgage world. But usually there's also a loan officer. So like business development brings in the real estate agent, loan officer takes them and runs with them.
Yeah.
But I bring them in and I never leave. And so those real relationships that I'm making
are staying.
I'm still a part of the process.
Yeah.
Because I'm never stepping out of it.
Yeah.
So that is something that like I've loved.
Did either one of you grow up with entrepreneurial backgrounds? I mean, I know
Neither one of us.
Neither one of you.
Neither one of us. And I mean, Alex over here too, we can probably laugh because now we married into and with a father-in-law who is very financially conservative. That's where beef gets it.
Okay.
And so when we all started moving into these self-generating businesses, I think that probably scared him immensely because he's like, oh gosh, now I've got multiple children, because he sees us all as his kids and he cares about us deeply. Yeah. But I think it freaked him out. He was like, oh gosh, are these kids going to be okay?
Yeah.
So, and hey, look at us. We're okay. We're doing it. Hey, Papa, we made it.
That's good.
But no, neither of us came from entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about, I know you have two littles and they are so adorable.
Thank you.
Do you see yourself kind of encouraging them to go that route and start their own business? Or are you totally cool if they want to work for the man and have a 9-to-5?
I love nepotism.
Oh, okay. Okay. You're trying to create Nepo babies.
I tell them that all the time and they just look at me like, what? I'm like, you guys will be Nepo babies. Like Gracie, I already see it for her but I don't know. Grace is a little more artsy. And Johnny, in reality, like he's probably going to end up being that sports agent or attorney or politician. Okay. But I would love if they are willing if they're willing and interested to know what we're doing. Yeah. And they like it. Yeah. We ask them often, do you know what mom and dad do?
Oh, you do?
They don't have a clue.
Okay.
Not a clue.
Okay.
I think they're starting to understand, like we help people get homes. Yeah. But yesterday I mentioned to Johnny, I said, we're driving down the street and I was like, oh, I actually looked at a house over here as an investment property. Yeah. Well, it's an investment property.
Did he ask that?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
What does that mean? And then I explained to him, okay, well, one day, mommy and daddy, if we want to go buy a new home, we might hold on to the house that we live in right now. Yeah. And then we might have a renter move in there and they'll pay to stay in the house because they either like being a renter or they don't want to buy a house yet. Yeah. We have to have options for people to have housing. And they go, well, how long would they stay with us? And I'm like, no. We'll go somewhere else. Or if we needed the money, maybe we would stay too. But trying to teach him these things at a young age, because I don't know. Did you understand real estate when you were 7?
No, not at all. And I grew up with an entrepreneurial father, and he really shied away from teaching a lot of us things until we were older.
Okay.
And so I think now, in hindsight, I'm like, I wish I would have asked more questions or been more curious. And I just don't think we were interested. So I don't think he was, willing to share with us anything.
Was your dad always in this world, or did that come later?
Always in real estate, but not in assisted living.
Was he a real estate agent?
No, he was just an investor.
Okay.
Yeah, bought his first property at 18. Okay. And really was just real estate investing and doing all sorts of different things from that angle, right? My whole life. And then all sorts of other stuff, always in the education space, the info space, teaching people things. So it's interesting that he would teach everyone else stuff, but not necessarily us. But I think he just was very like, if they're not asking me,
I'm not going to tell them.
I'm not going to tell them, and so I think once we were older and then we were like, hey, what are you doing? And curious about it and start kind of going in the office more and just like listening to conversations. Then he started telling us more, but he always had a big air of, you don't like, he didn't want to raise us in a family business, right? And it wasn't until we were older, then it became a thing. But he was very much like, if this isn't for you, you leave. Whenever you want to leave, I don't want you to feel that you have to do this.
Oh, because it's the family business.
It's the family. And I don't want you to feel like you're letting me down if you don't want to work for us one day.
Right.
And I thought that was really cool that he gave me that space and freedom to say one day, hey, if I want to walk away, it's okay. And there's no guilt. Because I think a lot of people who are raised in family businesses, they feel this pressure, this guilt.
To keep on the name, I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
So we weren't raised with it. And then he was very cautious to be like, you're here because you want to be here, right?
Right?
So, yes. Okay, so you started business in a crazy time, in a crazy market. What's been one of your best like marketing techniques or like initiatives to get new clients?
In the mortgage world, I came from, like I said, that big old team. And we were coached. A lot of mortgage professionals are coached, and real estate agents as well. Of you pick up the phone, you get a list of, so my client that I'm chasing after is not actually the borrower, but the real estate agent who would bring in the lead.
Okay.
You're always looking for where's your lead source going to come in.
Okay.
I've never been on a team where leads were fed into us.
Okay.
It was always directly through a real estate agent partner. And so it's pick up the phone, look at a list, call 100 real estate agents and see who wants to go get coffee with you.
Okay.
And that does work.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be cold called. And so I don't want to cold call somebody else. And I am way bigger into let's find the genuine relationships that you actually like. I like you, you like me, and let's work together that way.
Right.
But I don't think I'm going to find it in the way of cold calling. So I'm really big on being out and about, which I haven't been because we've been so busy. So I've been in the office working on files lately, but I love to find my clients and my partners like out and about in true, natural, organic relationship. And then seeing like, oh, do you trust me?
Yeah.
Like, let's just try it from there.
Yeah.
And it's been really, really cool that people have picked up the phone, and I'm now starting to get calls from buyers of like, hey, blah, 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 sent me your name and number. And it's a real estate agent that I have never one time sat down and talked business with.
Interesting.
Not once. Okay. Beef and I do newsletters that I actually type up and I send out for everybody. I do them once a week or every other week. And then, of course, being present on social to an extent. And I'm big on, like, you talk to the camera.
Yeah.
It's not putting a bunch of words up on text if you want to teach somebody.
Okay.
Because then I think people kind of see through it. And maybe this is my own personal thing, but I think a lot of people who are scrolling through their phones, they can tell who's genuine and who's not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely comes across. And I love what you guys are doing on social, and it's fun and it's really true to your personality.
Yeah.
And you guys are making mortgage fun.
Make mortgage fun, you know? I mean, and you never know whose eye it's going to catch.
Yeah.
Every time I post something, I swear, like somebody I haven't talked to in 7 years sends me a message of like, hey, I saw that you posted about this. Can we go into a little bit more detail? I had a friend from middle school actually message me, and she and her husband, she just wanted to talk about Ahwatukee. She was just like, hey, you make Ahwatukee sound awesome.
Yeah.
Never lived there. Here's where we live now. It's the dreamiest part of probably where a lot of millennials would say like, oh, I would love to live in this area. And they're like, give us true feedback of Ahwatukee. And so I did. And they might be moving to Ahwatukee now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And it just, because it seems it's a very family friendly area.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You grew up close by.
And when we first moved to Arizona, that's where we were.
You were in Ahwatukee?
We were in the foothouse.
Oh.
Yeah, on the golf course on the 18th hole.
Oh, fancy. And then you moved to South Tempe?
And then we moved to Tempe.
Okay.
Yeah, but we were in Ahwatukee and I loved it. It was suburbia times 10.
Oh, I know. The world's largest cul-de-sac is that the running joke?
Yes, but it really is. And our neighborhood, what's actually funny, our neighborhood when we first moved in there, it was a bunch of other young families because my parents had to be between 30 and 35, right?
Okay.
So they were like our age at that time. And they moved in there and almost all of the other new neighbors were the same age with kids the same age. And we were all new owners together. And so the kids all got along and we all played together, like on the little mountain in the neighborhood, and we had a blast. And so when I first bought my own home, I was like, I'm so excited. I'm going to make all these friends with my neighbors. And then I realized it's because it was a new development and everyone was like brand new. But I thought that that's what
happened
when you moved into a neighborhood, was you become best friends with everybody and everyone's on the same page and like people are outside their house. And that's not true. But new neighborhoods, sometimes that is true.
So here's something that I mean, I'm this way with like every facet of life. Like you get into something, what you put into it, or you get out what you put in.
Yeah.
And that worked in my sorority. It worked in high school, being involved in so many things. You're going to naturally connect the more that you get out.
Yeah.
And we recently had a neighbor who they moved into the neighborhood and they moved out within 8 months.
Oh.
And she said to me, she was like, I just don't think Ahwatukee's that friendly. I'm out and about and nobody's like stopping to talk to me. I'm like, that's weird. When I'm out and about, talk to everybody.
Right.
But I think it's because I put that out there.
Yeah.
And when we moved into our neighborhood, there were 2 little girls across the street from us. The neighborhood had not played together in a long time because they were in that kind of phase where like those families all moved in 30 years ago.
Okay.
They raised their kids together. Kids moved out. Now parents are in the transitional phase.
Yeah.
And now slowly new families are moving back in. And so we like have forced everybody to come out of their house. Like we noticed that there's a kid who lives down the street. Johnny, Grace, go get that kid out of their house. Have him come play.
Yeah.
And that really works in creating community.
Oh, yeah.
Just even going door to door to your neighbors and be like, hi.
Want to play?
You want to play?
Okay, Alaina, what is a dirty insider secret about your industry we should know?
Ooh, there's a lot of them. But probably one, and the company that we work for probably wouldn't want us to say it, but Beef and I are big about this.
Yeah.
Every mortgage lender has access to different products and different requirements and different guidelines. And so if you get denied at one place, I wouldn't let that stop you from going to look somewhere else.
Okay.
Another thing is every mortgage lender, bank, broker, lender has access to different rates. And so if you're not happy with the rate that you're being offered by a lender, I would always challenge people to go shop around.
Okay.
And then also like just because we get this question a lot. Hey, do you guys do home equity lines of credit? Yes, we do. But our rates are shit.
Oh.
Here's a number for somebody else who will take care of you and you'll get a better rate.
Okay.
And that's where Beef and I really were like, hey, yes, we can do these things, but like if we're not going to give you the best possible experience, don't waste your time.
Yeah.
And we give people that option too.
Yeah.
We're honest. We're like, hey, this is our rate, but like you might get a better rate over here. Do you want their number?
Right.
And I actually just recently had a guy who was like, nope, I'm happy with like my client experience with you. Like, let's just get it done.
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay. All right, I gave you the option, so cool, let's do this thing.
I think that's true. I always say that the more transparent you are with them about their options, sometimes they will still choose you, or they'll like you even more for the fact that you were honest, saying, hey, this guy can do it better. And you were respectful about it. You weren't trashing him along the way. You're just saying like, hey, actually, great resource for you. Here you go.
Absolutely. You know? And that's the goal. Like we can't do every transaction.
Yeah.
And so if we can be the resource to pass you along to somebody better, amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
You just want to help out.
We really just want to help solve a problem.
Has there ever been a time you've passed up on an opportunity that you felt like was too good to be true, and now you look back and you're like, dang, I wish we would have done that?
So definitely selling our home.
Yeah.
Was our first home. We should have never done that.
Oh.
We should have held on to it and turned it into an investment property.
Yeah.
But we were buying our buy-up home.
Yeah.
We were terrified of what the monthly payment was going to be.
Okay.
We wanted to get our cash out and pay it down. But I kept going back and forth with Beef, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I feel like we should hang on to this. Yeah. Like, we're only going to make more money.
Yeah.
As we get older, and the longer that we hold on to this property, we're paying down a mortgage balance, all these things. And he just said, absolutely not. And that's definitely my biggest regret and definitely a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
And I guess the other one then for me is I probably should have become a real estate agent 13 years ago.
You went to college, obviously, ASU with me.
Yep.
What'd you go for?
Go Devils. Okay, started as marketing, moved into education, then I thought I wanted to be a weather person.
Oh, you'd be good at the weather.
I would have so much fun, but then my parents were like, you're not good at science and math. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. So then I just ended up with business and communications.
Okay.
Got that interdisciplinary degree.
Yeah, I love
but
it.
Degree is a degree, baby.
Yeah. So there wasn't a ton of direction on what you wanted to do.
No, my dad said, go as basic as you can so that you can translate your business degree into anything.
Yeah. And you really fell into this.
Fell into it.
Okay, so what's your long-term goal for the business now?
Beef and I, we were talking about it when I was on my way over here. We are two people who, like, we just want to live a very comfortable life.
Okay.
We are not trying to live the most luxurious life of all time. Yeah. We want to be financially free, not retired by, Zach Kim, if you're listening, I think our number is 55 that we want to be.
Okay, love it.
Financially free, which means like all of our big debts are paid off and whatever money we make
is yours.
Is supplemental, but our retirement accounts are already set up.
Yeah.
We would love to continue to build really strong relationships, but Beef and I are kind of the people where we don't want to expand to a massive team.
Okay.
We really want it to stay the two of us.
Yeah.
Who work together. Maybe at some point we have someone else, an assistant to a capacity. Yeah. But I get, with as up and down as real estate and mortgage are, I get nervous to have someone else
on the payroll
rely on me on my payroll.
Okay, that's very real.
That freaks me out.
That's very real. There's a lot of risk in being an entrepreneur. And it sounds like, although you guys are doing this on your own, you're both pretty risk averse. Like, you're not.
Oh, yeah. I'm a 6 on the Enneagram scale or whatever it is on the wheel. Yeah. So, like, risk and Beef supply chain brain. Like, everything we see is like red flag.
Okay.
Everything's a red flag. We're like, ooh, no. Yeah. So we aren't going to be the super risky people. That's just not who we are.
Okay, but that's okay. As long as you have that vision and goal, then you'll know that you got there, right? If it's you two, if you're reaching your goals, maybe you have one person on payroll or something, not too much that you have 50 people under you.
Yeah, maybe we have a VA at some point who takes on like little tasks for us or all those like little mundane things that if we had to let them go, we had to step back into it, it wouldn't change our life.
But I think that's good because for some people listening, right, their goal is to have this huge business. And it's also good to know that it's okay if your goal is just financial freedom for you and your family and your husband.
Yep.
You're like, we get what we need. We help people around us. Yes. We have our own thing. We make an impact and we're good. And it's not about having all this,
I don't need $1 million home.
Yeah.
Except our home is like appreciating naturally.
It will be worth $1 million in just a few years, I'm sure.
I mean, it was worth $1 million at one point, and I was like, "What? This isn't right."
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, we want to be really comfortable, and we want to be able to help people, and not overly panic about because we dug ourselves too deep,
Yeah. It can be scary. I mean, we have almost 50 people on staff.
Dang.
Yeah. And when like COVID happened, right? Like different situations, it's like you have that moment where you're like, these are mouths I have to feed and like I have to do what it takes to get there. And it does put a whole new backpack of pressure on that you have to wear every day.
Yeah. And then I listened to your first episode where you're talking about like your hardest firing and it's like, oh,
firing people. Yeah. That's not fun.
No.
Not for you. Okay.
No, not for me. No. Confrontation. I don't want it.
So when they're ready to hire one person, you'll never get fired. You heard it here first.
That's why I said virtual assistant because then I don't know you like personally and then I don't feel
you're not going to get tied in too much. Maybe you will still get tied in. You're going to be like loving them.
I can't help but care about them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know. Okay. So entrepreneurs are notoriously known for being bad at celebrating. How do you and Beef celebrate? And do you celebrate?
We make videos. Just kidding. Ooh, we have our own little goals for ourselves.
Okay.
So once we hit a certain goal, hopefully we'll hit it this year, which would be doubling our business from last year.
Love it.
then we are going to book a trip and go to Puerto Vallarta because that's what we love. We're beach people. And that's what we'll do. But honestly, like the celebrations for us right now is like, were we able to put aside what we wanted to save this month?
Yeah.
Celebration, yes.
Yeah.
But we're not the type of people who are like, okay, let's go out to Steak 44 and drop $400 on a meal.
Yeah. But I love that you have a trip plan. That's major.
That'll be, well, it's not booked yet. We don't get to book it until we hit this number. Okay. And if we do it, then great. So
you have to make sure you actually go too.
Oh, we will.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, now I've said it publicly so everybody knows.
And it's holding you accountable.
We have a group message with friends because they wanted everybody to book this trip.
Yeah.
And I told all of them, I said, hey, here's our number. The moment that we hit it, we can book this trip. So like, if you want us to come, you got to send us clients.
I love it. Incorporating other people in your win, in your celebration.
Yes. Yeah. But we're also really honest with our friends about like what's going on with us.
Yeah.
Because we want them to know like, hey, I'll literally tell anybody, hey, if you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or refinance, would you mind connecting them with us?
Oh, that's good.
We'd love to have a conversation.
So you utilize a lot of friends and family connections.
Oh, yeah.
Would you suggest for other young bosses that that's who they tap into?
You have to rely on the people that you know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
And you also have to tell people what you want and what you need. Because not everybody is a natural, like, shout out something that's amazing. Like, I am going to shout out Corey and Alex to anybody, and I've done it on social and in conversation because I know that these two are amazing at what they do.
Yeah.
And anybody now who says like, oh, I'm looking into I might want to do an assisted living facility. It's like, okay, hit up Isabel, go through her courses.
Yeah.
Because you guys are going to be the ones who can guide them best.
Yeah.
But we have to tell people what we need in life because they're never going to know.
Agreed.
And on social, you might see like, oh my gosh, they look like they're doing really great. They don't need my help. But like, we always need more connections.
Yeah.
I'm always looking to talk to another real estate agent, always look to someone who's renting.
Yeah.
And get them out of it.
I love that. It's the ask and you shall receive. People don't know what you need until you say, hey, this is what we're looking for. This is what we want.
Yep.
And then they're willing to help you out along the way.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of helpers out there.
There are.
People want you to succeed.
100%. I think anytime someone asks me for a connection, a referral or something, I'm excited to be able to give it to them because I feel like I'm helping them. Mm-hmm. It's not a burden at all. And so when people are kind of scared to ask their friends and family stuff, I'm like, they already like you.
They already like you.
Like, they're going to be happy to help you.
And if they say no, then it's like, okay. But then if they say no behind your back, then it's like, okay, you weren't my friend in the first place. Bye.
Right. It's good. It's good. Okay. What's your favorite thing to do when you're not working?
Working out.
Yeah.
Or being with kiddos.
Yeah. What's your workout regimen these days?
Oh, well, lately it's been pretty bad. I mean, that's on me just because it's stupid cold and flu season took me down.
Yeah.
But I like to lift.
Yeah.
I love Lifetime Fitness. I've been there for far too long, but I can't quit it.
Yeah.
It's our country club.
It is a country club.
I mean, we're true lifers of Lifetime Fitness. And then we did the quarantine Peloton buy.
Oh.
And Beef wanted to sell it pretty quickly after it. And I was like, no, because my risk-averse brain is like, what if we go into another global pandemic?
Yeah, we need it.
I have to have it. Yeah. And then, of course, it's great because then I can get a quick 20-minute ride in.
100%.
In a busy day. I love Peloton.
I love Peloton.
Do you have one?
Yes.
Bike or treadmill?
Bike.
Love it.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite teacher?
Oh, what's his name? Cody.
Cody Rigsby. Cody, we love you.
He's my favorite.
He's my favorite teacher.
I pretty much only do his classes.
Well, because the whole time I'm just like smiling and enjoying it, and he loves all the same things I do.
Yeah, and I feel like he's just chatting with a friend.
Yes.
I'm just chatting with a friend while cycling. I love it. Okay.
I could hype about Peloton all day. Honestly, our stock also tanked, so go buy the stock.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I know. Oh my gosh. Okay, for any other young bosses listening, what would your best advice be for them?
Start saving as young as you can. Because the more that you invest into your own bank account, it opens up doors for you to have more freedom later on in life. And that allows you to open a business, buy a franchise, buy a house. It just grants you so much more freedoms than, say, when I was 15 years old, every paycheck I got, I'd cash it and I'd run over to Hollister to buy that piece of crap T-shirt that you wash one time
And it falls apart.
And it falls apart. I mean, imagine what would have happened had I taken that money and truly invested it.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's tough when you're a kid and you have that mindset, but it's good to be, I think teaching kids more financial literacy is what's going to help change that, is that kids don't know. And then they get excited about the money and then they want to spend it. But it's important that we have to educate them. I love the phrase where it says money isn't everything, but not having it is.
I mean, yeah.
Because that's the truth of it all. It's right. Like once you're good and you're settled, you're not focused on that as much. You're like, I can live, I can breathe, I can relax. But when you don't have it, it's all you're focused on.
It's all you can think about.
It's all you can think about. So I think even younger people, right, once they first get it, right, they're just like so excited they don't know what to do. And so it's so important.
And my parents really tried to get us into that saving mindset, but like it didn't work that well. But yeah, financial literacy. And then I guess this is a totally different world, but I think high schools and colleges really should have financial courses that everyone is required to take.
100%.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter if you're not paying attention, to be honest. It's that you heard it at some point. And I always feel like everything we learn is now stuck up in there somewhere. And it's going to eventually, you know.
Yeah. Budgeting, all those things. There's so much in life that we weren't taught when we were young. And a lot of people had to learn it the hard way.
Okay, so I'm in family business. Mm-hmm. You now have mentioned that a lot of your siblings and in-laws, right, are doing their own thing. So who's being an entrepreneur in your family? Who's a young boss?
Okay, we've got one of them sitting over here, Alex Johnson. Alex and Corey Davis, they are running Green Door Studios. And these two guys are, like, they can literally do anything under the sun, whether it's marketing or podcasting or video. Anything that I've ever put out that these two had a hand in, rave reviews.
Yes, agreed.
So we've got that. But then on the flip side, we have Alex's amazing wife, Jacqueline, who is my little sister-in-law. And Jay does my aesthetics.
Ooh.
She's amazing. I mean, softest touch, knows the right regimens to get me on. And every time I leave there, I'm just glowing. So I'm just really, really proud of my family and everything that we've all built. Yeah. You should be very proud.
You should. Mm-hmm. And having a soft touch, nothing beats it.
I'm like literally dreaming of her dermaplaning my face right now. I wish.
Some people have magic in their hands.
Oh, that's Jay for sure.
Okay.
You can tell it with. So Alex has the magic with the marketing, and then Jay has the magic with the face.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
this was a lot of fun. I loved having you here.
Thank you. We didn't even get to tell everybody how we know each other.
I know. So Alaina and I were cheerleaders together in high school.
Yes, we were. Yes. Go Trojans.
And she was my flyer and I was her base. Like, we could probably just lift her right up here. She's still.
You want to do a single base?
Let's do it.
Thigh stand?
It would be so fun. But I know, but we were good friends in high school, and it's been fun to be able to just keep up with each other over the years and see all of your success. I'm really proud of you and Beef.
Same to you. Your family has built something really, really cool.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a whole family affair, right?
It's a whole family affair.
Family affair.
Yes.
We're doing these things.
We're doing it. I love it. Well, thanks for being here.
Of course.
Yes.
I'll come back anytime.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Young Boss Podcast with your host, Isabel Garino. Be sure to like, share, and follow on Instagram and TikTok, and let us know in the comments, are you risk averse or not? I want to hear from you guys. How do you feel about risk? Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget, your youth is your power.